So what happens when the spotlight on stage just isn't enough anymore? We're about to dive into this really powerful story of a career transformation, going from the world of live events all the way to the future of education. And it's all driven by this one simple question. What does meaningful work really look like?
All right, good morning, everyone. When people ask me, so what do you do for a living? I'm always really proud to say that I'm a bilingual MC. For the last 5 years, that's been my entire world.
And I've had the chance to host a whole range of events, from big corporate opening ceremonies and serious professional conferences to fun talk shows and those huge, lively year-end parties. It looks pretty glamorous from the outside, I get it. But there's a pretty big misunderstanding about what the job actually involves.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's as simple as that, just holding a mic and reading a script. But trust me, the reality is, well, it's way more complex and honestly, a lot more exciting than just reading lines off a page.
See, my real job is to be the glue that holds the whole event together. I'm there to make sure everything runs like clockwork, to build a genuine bridge between the audience and the speakers, and to get the brand's message across in a way that feels real and authentic. And, maybe the most important part, I have to be ready to pivot at a moment's notice when something unexpected happens, and handle it without anyone in the audience even noticing.
So, how did I even get into this? Honestly, it felt so natural. Even way back in school, I was always the kid putting my hand up to host events. While everyone else was getting stage fright, I was up there feeling totally energized. It's this amazing mix of communication, creativity, and that real human connection. 3 things I just absolutely love.
And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it. It's an incredibly fulfilling job. But as the years started to pass, I couldn't help but start asking myself some pretty tough questions about the future. The freelance life is really 2 sides of the same coin. On the one side, you've got this incredible freedom, this flexible schedule, and the buzz of working on different, unique events all the time. But the flip side? Well, it's the constant pressure of being your own boss. You're dealing with unstable income, you're constantly having to manage your time and build your personal brand in a super competitive field. If you're not always on top of your game, it is so easy to fall behind.
So, all of this, it just kept leading me back to this one big question that was always kind of rattling around in my head. Yeah, this career fits my personality perfectly, but was it really enough for the long run? And that question, it really forced me to sit down and figure out what job satisfaction truly means to me. And it's not just about the paycheck. For me, it's about having stability, it's about having room to grow, and it's about really knowing that my work is genuinely helping other people. I want a career where my experience actually compounds over time, making my contribution even more valuable. So this search for something deeper, it wasn't just a thought experiment. It actually led me to a real answer, into a completely new chapter, learning experience design. Now, to really get why this feels like the right move, you have to look at how education itself is evolving. Think about it. In the past, the teacher was basically the sole source of knowledge, right? But today, with AI and technology, students can get information from anywhere. Just being an expert isn't the most important skill anymore. The future, I truly believe, is for the teacher to become a mentor and, most importantly, a designer of learning experiences. So, to be clear, my vision isn't just to go stand in front of a classroom. It's about a fundamental shift in philosophy, moving away from just teaching a book and really focusing on teaching the human. It's all about designing ways of learning that actually connect with how our brains are wired.
And this is where it gets really personal for me, because this isn't just some career change I'm thinking about. For me, it's a mission.
I'm so passionate about this because I was that student. For 16 long years in the education system, I was told what to memorize, but not once was I taught how to learn. I was that distracted kid who just couldn't fit into the mold of sitting still and just memorizing. But then, something amazing happened. My career as an MC, it gave me this incredible realization. Those very things that got me labeled as distracted in the classroom, my constant need to talk, to interact, to tell stories, those are now my biggest professional assets. My goal is to prevent other students from feeling lost in a system that wasn't built for them. That's why my mission is to use my voice, my skills as a communicator, to bridge that huge gap between what we know about cognitive science and what's actually happening in the classroom.
Okay, so how am I actually going to do this? This isn't just some far-off dream. I have a very concrete plan to turn this vision into reality.
I'm tackling this with a multidisciplinary approach.
First up is pedagogy. I'm building that solid foundation with a high IELTS score and getting my TESOL certification. Next is psychology. I'm deep diving into neuroscience and reading game-changing books like Make It Stick. And finally, there's technology. I want to use adaptive learning tools not to replace the teacher, but to handle the routine stuff so we can focus on the truly human side of teaching, empathy and connection.
This is where my two worlds really come together. I want to take everything I've learned as an MC and bring it into the classroom, because a classroom shouldn't just be a place for rote memorization. It should be a stage, a dynamic space for growth.
My whole goal is to create what I call safe harbors. These are learning environments designed for everyone. For the social processors who really need to talk things out to learn. For the reflective thinkers who need that quiet time to process. And really, for all the students who just don't fit into that traditional one-size-fits-all model.
Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one powerful belief I have. There is no such thing as a bad learner. There is only an outdated design. And the next chapter of my career, it's going to be all about changing that design for the better.